So in this video I want to go over menus and widgets, and I like to kind of put menus and widgets together because they work in a somewhat similar way. And so as we look here on the front page, we see our menu here. This is the main menu. We hover over portfolio, we get a sub-menu that flies from the right there, and then we have contact us. Okay, and as you see, as we hover over these, they change color. Okay, well these things can all be altered very, very easily through the WordPress menu editor right here. If you come over to Appearance, you're going to get this flyout menu. If you come down to Menus and click on that, it's going to take you into the interface that's going to show you the current structure of your WordPress menu. Now you're going to see Home, About Us, Services, and Portfolio, and you notice these three items over here that are pulled in over here. That's actually the submenu that comes out over here when we hover on Portfolio. So what I want to show you how to do is how to add a page, and then how to delete a page, and how to rearrange these items very simply. If once you've created a page, it's going to show up here, and their most recent is going to show the last page created, and we created a blog page in case you wanted to put one in. Okay, this is going to show all pages, and it's going to show the exception. First thing it's going to show is a link to the home page. That's always the default that it shows, and then it's going to show all the other pages in your system listed. Okay, you could also do a search and just type in and search for the page that you were looking for. But this is going to list the most recent pages, or pages in the order they were created, with the most recent coming first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this blog page, and I'm going to click over here, and I'm going to and I could add more than one at one time. I could add a whole bunch if I wanted to, but I'm just going to add one, and I'm going to click Add to Menu. And then that's going to add it over here to the bottom of the WordPress menu. Now I could just click Save Menu and give it a second to update. I can come over here to the front, and I can refresh the page, and now you'll see that we have our blog right there. I could click it, and I go right to the blog page, and we see a quick, concise blog page right there, minimalistic style. Okay, so now what if I didn't want this here? What if I wanted it to be a sub-menu of Contact Us? Well, that would be very easy, actually. All I would have to do is move that over there, click Save Menu. And now that I've moved this over here, I'm now actually, you're going to see that the blog has gone away, and that now when I hover over Contact Us, I get oops, sorry, it needs to finish loading. I apologize. As I said, I'm sorry, but it is running a little slow today, and that's because we've been doing development. Now when I hover over Contact Us, I get a menu that says Blog that flies out over here. But what if I actually wanted that to be a submenu of About Us? I just grab that and move that right on up here to About Us and save it. And once again, now, when I come to the front, you're going to notice that now when I refresh the page, when I hover, it's not going to be under Contact Us anymore. Now when I hover over About Us, I'm going to get a flyout that says Blog and still links to our blog page. What if I didn't want it named Blog? What if I want it named Latest Entries? Okay, well, I can do that. See what I just did here? I came right over here to where it says, you're going to see it says Page right there, and this is what denotes that you get to move this back and forth. That would make it a top-level menu item if I wanted to, but I don't. I want it to be a sub-menu of About Us, so I put it over here. But when I click on this, this is going to give me some information. Now, I could list a description for this. I could list a title attribute. Neither of these is needed. This is the navigation label, and the navigation label is what gets shown here on the outside. Doesn't have anything to do with the page that it references. Okay, this is going to reference the blog page no matter what I put in here. So I'm just going to type in latest postings, and now I'm going to come up here and click Save. Once that's saved, there we go. I'm going to come over here and refresh, and here's our latest postings. But when I go there, you're going to notice that I went directly to the blog page that we went to before. So it's not going to matter what I name these in the menu. I can name them whatever I want to. It's okay. It's going to send me to that page anyway that I put in there. Now, if I don't want a menu item here and I don't want this here right now, I'm just going to open up this little interface and click Remove, and that's just going to get rid of it. Remember, when you click Remove, it is not going to give you a warning and say, hey, are you sure you want to do this? It's just going to remove it is all it's going to do. And now you see, once we actually refresh the page and we come down to About Us, you're going to notice now when we hover over it, I don't get any drop-down menus, and the only one I get is here under Portfolio, which is what we want. So now I want to go over widgets. And widgets, you will find widgets, okay, since we're not using any sidebars here, the only widgets are down here in the footer. But there are 3 footer widgets. There is a latest tweets widget, a latest post widgets, and a contact us widget. And those 3 have been they've been highly customized to look just like this and to be styled and aligned just like this. But I want to show you how easy it is to add something and remove something from this. And we're going to do this with the Twitter widget over here. So I'm going to come over here to Appearance, and right above Menus is a place called Widgets. And I'm going to click on that, and then it's going to give me a widget interface. And you're going to see you have all of these sidebars over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then a WooCommerce sidebar too. So if you had an e-commerce system, there would be a separate sidebar for that particular e-commerce system, which would need to be WooCommerce in this particular instance. But the ones we're interested in is footer column 1, 2, and 3. Since we don't have any pages using sidebars, and these aren't assigned to specific pages, these are just different sidebars that you can configure and then add to any page. Okay, that's all that is. So it's very, very flexible and just gives you a lot of choices. You don't have to configure all of those. Most people will probably only configure one ever. But they're there if people need them, if they have a very elaborate layout and they want specific sidebars for everything. But here you'll notice in the footer column we have first we have a text, which is actually giving us our title. Now, you see, with each widget I get a little drop-down arrow, and when you see those little drop-down arrows, when you click on them, you're going to get a drop-down. It's going to drop down a menu, and it's going to drop down whatever the options are for that widget. So as you see down there, when I click it, I get a title that says latest tweets, and I've put a horizontal rule under there. And what you're seeing there actually is this right here. This is latest tweets, and there's my horizontal rule. And I've done this for layout purposes as well. So you're not going to want to change these in the layout. You're going to see the first thing that's going to say latest post. You could change the name of that if you wanted. That'd be fine. Come right over there and change the name of it. But leave the horizontal rule in there, and you would just change the name, and then when you were done, you would click save. And then that would change that name out on the front. You'll see right here we have a Twitter feed. Right here, we have the point blank super recent posts feed, and over here we have contact us, and we have another text block because what I've entered in here was a short code. Okay, and that short code is from the contact form 7, and that's what puts that nice formatted contact form right down here. So now, any of these widgets that I didn't want there, okay, for instance, I'm gonna come over here to sidebar 1, and I'm going to add the Archives widget. I'm going to add a calendar. I'm going to give it a name of Archives, and as you see, I have a couple of choices that I could change there, which is display as a drop down or show post counts. I'm not going to do either one of those. Here's a calendar, and I'm just going to title that latest events. There we go. And you'll notice here we don't have any choices. Sometimes it's just going to ask you for a title, and it's not going to give you any choices. That means that the widget is just completely self-contained. Now, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to add a new page. I'm going to right click and open that up in a new tab, and it's going to give me the add new page interface, and I'm going to just name this test page, and I'm going to open up the Swift page builder there, and I'm not going to add anything to it. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to come down here to sidebars, and I'm going to put in left sidebar, and I'm going to choose sidebar 1. Now I'm going to publish the page. All you need, you can actually even publish a page without a title. Of course, you'll never be able to navigate there unless you know the actual direct URL. But it takes nothing to publish a page. You can publish an absolute blank page. But what we've done here is we've created a test page, and I've given it a sidebar that I want to show up on the left. So now when I click View Page, now, I'm not going to get any page content because I haven't added any page content in, and that's fine. What I want is I want to see the sidebar, and here it is. I've got our latest events, and I've got a calendar that would show me postings that I could use blog postings as events in this system instead of using them for blog posts, and then just name this latest events, and people could just have it would be a quick and simple event management system. Archives shows that in February 2013 there were some blog postings. And if I open that up, it'll open it up in a dynamic page that the system automatically creates and then shows me these blog postings is what it does. And you'll notice now over here, I've got these archives and latest events over here, even though I didn't specify that I wanted this page to have that on there. Well, here's the deal. This page is dynamically created by the system, and the system will automatically create a right sidebar and populate it with whatever's in sidebar 1. when it creates a dynamic page. Okay, very few pages in this system will be created dynamically, so you're not going to run into that problem very much. But this is an instant. The blog portion is a very dynamic portion of the site, and so that's why you see that. So now I could come back in here to these widgets, and I could let me just close these here. I could rearrange those, put archives underneath. You notice I'm not going to need to save anything. It's going to automatically save it for me. I'm going to come back over to test page, and I'm going to refresh that page. And you'll see what I have. When I do that, what I get here is now I'm going to have my calendar on the top and my archives on the bottom. Now, if I did not want those there, I would just come over here to latest events, and I could just pull that off and remove it. And now when I come over and I refresh the page, now I'll no longer actually have that calendar there. I'm just going to have the archives. See that? Simple as that. I could also open this up and click delete, as opposed to pulling it off and removing it like that. But you can just pull it off and remove it off over to the side. If you want to remove one and save one for use later, you don't want it to disappear, just remove it, put it here into the inactive widgets is what you would want to do. And then you would be able to go over and take that widget and put it anywhere else you wanted to. So, okay, our sidebar is back to normal, and you'll see as when we refresh our test page that we no longer have anything over here in the sidebar. As a matter of fact, even though we are using a sidebar on the page, we don't have a sidebar at all because there's no content there. And the system dynamically reduces the size because there's no content there at that point in time. So, that is a quick overview of menus and widgets in WordPress.